Hello, welcome to the Strong by Design podcast show. Hosting today, your favorite, I hope, Coach Chris Wilson. And there are several hosts here on the Strong by Design show. I've just been so fortunate and blessed to have done many of them in recent weeks and months. But there's going to be some terrific upcoming episodes with other hosts who have amazing ability, and I just so look forward to listening to future episodes with some just fascinating people leading the conversation. But I am so amped up. Seriously, I love all these podcast conversations. Today's topic in particular really gets me fired up because I think it's just so vitally important to our overall health and well-being as men and women who are trying to live a life strong by design. And really a huge part of that is how we handle the rigors of life, the stressors of life. Are we living in a state of anxiety and stress and woe and all of these other things, or are we going through our days with healthy ways of releasing the tension and the buildup and the anxiety and the challenges of life? And we need to be able to operate that way. We need to be constantly finding new avenues and pathways to release this buildup. It's very healthy because if we allow it to sit and fester and rot within us, we are cutting ourselves short in life, at experiencing life to its fullest. Stress and anxiety are real killers. There's just no doubt about it. I think anyone who's given it any kind of consideration or thought realizes the dangers of stress and anxiety and worry and living in a constant state of panic, okay? Unable to relax. I mean, you are absolutely killing yourself by holding on to things, that, especially things that need to just be let go of. I'm not talking about deep-seated stuff from childhood. I'm just talking about the daily grind and thing people live with the stress of the moment. Okay, so what are you at risk for, right? What are you at risk for when you live in a stressed out state? I mean, we come across these people all the time, don't we? In our life, in our everyday life, at the gas pump, at the convenience store, at the grocery store, at the ball fields, anywhere we go, at church. We are constantly surrounded by people who are not getting a good mark, not getting a good grade in this area of life. Okay. It's understood that by many people, health experts, that living in this unhealthy way is a premature killer. According to the APA, the American Psychological Association, you're at higher risk of heart disease, of cancer, of lung ailments, of accidents, cirrhosis of the liver, suicide, okay, just to name some things, okay? But it's definitely a premature killer. So what do we do to work against this daily, deadly way of life? Okay. Well, I've put together a list. I've done some research. I've done some reading. I've just done some reflection and looked at my own life. What are the things that I've done in my life? Okay. And I don't have it all figured out. Okay. At 46 years old, I have a lot of life left ahead of me, God willing. And I have a lot more learning to do. But in my time here, in my almost half century on this planet, I have experienced some things and learned some valuable lessons and been surrounded by some absolutely amazing people. I just sent out a text this morning to some guys that I coach baseball with, just how much I appreciate them and being around them and their support and their enthusiasm and desire and showing up. So much great from that. And that's just one little part of my life, right? So I've put together these 15 best ways to fight stress and anxiety in our life. And I know this episode is going to be super beneficial to many of you listening out there, because we're all in this life together. Okay, we're all human beings. We all experience emotion and feelings and all of this stuff, and we all are dealing with stuff. And just when you think that you have the hardest life in the world, you hear a story about someone else, don't you? And it makes you very quickly realize, wow, do I have it good? Okay, so I think that's a good place to start. Gratitude and focus on your blessings, okay? But let's get right down to it, because I'm going to be all over the map. But let me just go kind of line by line with this list that I made, because I really feel like one or two, maybe even three or four of these things will really hit home with you. And these are things that you can incorporate right away into your life to help you fight against stress and anxiety. That's going to kill you, and it's going to kill you quickly. Okay, so number one, I do this every day and I love it. I do it typically to start my day with my kids, or I'll do it middle of the day with my coworkers. I'll do it by myself at the end of the day, like I did last night. Get outside, go for a walk, get some fresh air, and get some sunshine. So many of us, we're in a box all day long. We're working inside. Not everybody. There's a lot of people that are fortunate, fortunate enough to have a work life that takes them outside a lot. And I think that's in a lot of ways very healthy. My father-in-law is a farmer. He works outside for a living. And you know what? His dad lived to be 93, was still out farming. And my father-in-law he loves it. He just loves it. You can see it in their eyes. It's who they are. And I think it's a big part of life is being in nature, being outside. And we rob ourselves of that by being inside too much. So just those moments, maybe to start your day at sunrise, or, walking your kids to school like I do. It just feels good. We park at the community library and we walk. We beat the car line. We don't have to worry about sitting in the car line. And more often than not, we walk. It's just extra moments with my kids. It feels good for me. I'm upright. I'm moving. You think better on your feet. I'm getting fresh air. I'm getting that cool morning air in the shade. It's fantastic. Some days we go for a walk as a team, where several of us here at Critical Bench will go outside and go for a walk. We did it just the other day, and we went a new way we've never walked before. It's just fun. You're with friends. You're having conversations about life. You're getting some sunshine, and you come back refreshed. You just feel better. Great first way to start dealing with stress and anxiety in life. The simple things. Okay. Number two, this is a no-brainer, right? It's Critical Bench. Take it out in the gym. Take it out on the weights. Go out and get a great workout. I don't care what it is you do, when you do it. It could be for 10 minutes, for 20 minutes, for an hour. Moving our body, it's so much impacts our mental state, right? Goes right in line with what I just said earlier, but I'm talking about a real workout, resistance training of any kind. It could be body weight. It could be with suspension straps. It could be with dumbbells, with barbells, with kettlebells. It does not matter what the tool is. It's pushing and pulling the body, moving in different ways, breaking a sweat, getting those muscles fired up will quickly help you release that tension, some of that anxiety, that angst, that worry. I always feel better after a workout. I can't name one workout unless I push myself too hard and tweak the muscle or something. But I can't even think of one workout in my life, and that's a lot of workouts, that I regretted doing. Okay. So take it out on the weights. Find the time. Get up a little earlier. Go to bed a little later. There is no perfect time to work out. The perfect time to work out is when you make time to work out. That's the perfect time. It could be, I've worked out here at the compound at 11 o'clock at night. I've worked out here in the morning. I've worked out here at lunch. I've worked out all different times of my life. They all can be great workouts. It's just making it happen, carving out time in your day to do it. So work out. All right, next. Some people might not be writers. But I love writing. I love talking, evidently, but I also love writing. In fact, growing up, it was one of the things I think I was best at was writing. I was always good, even through college. I remember filling up those little blue book, those essay books on my exams, because I always had so much to say. And I think the professors really appreciated that, maybe my insights or my vast willingness to just keep talking about something and with words. But I really feel it's cathartic, or there's just something about putting your emotions down on paper and makes it more real. But you do it with goal setting, right? You do it with action plans and things like that. You take notes when you're listening to a lecture or a workshop or a seminar of some kind, right? Putting words down helps you improve. And so I think sometimes just writing down your thoughts or feelings, your frustrations, what you're eating, so that you actually know calorically, what did I just eat today? Well, I wrote it down, so I know, or I measured it out. I mean, that helped me last year lose a lot of weight, just knowing what I was eating because I wrote it down and I tracked it. So track your feelings, track your frustrations, write them down, and then kind of, look at them, give them a read every once in a while. Maybe you notice some patterns or something. Maybe you figure something out about yourself just because you put it down. Okay, so it could be jotted down on a sticky note. It could be in a book or something you keep nearby, by your bedside, anything. But give it a try. And if it's not for you, then maybe one of these other ones is. Okay. Next, huge. We talk about it all the time. It's come up on the podcast a lot. And I've been trying to be better about it. Get more Z's. Get some more sleep and better quality sleep. And typically that means go to bed a little earlier. Okay. It doesn't really matter what time you wake up. People can get a great night's sleep who wake up at 3 a.m. But it's because they went to bed between 8 and 9. Okay. And I'm not saying you have to go to bed between 8 and 9. But I would say if you could get better at going to bed before 11 or by 11 and try to sleep till about 6, that's a good start. Because if you can get yourself about 7 hours of sleep as an adult, you're going to feel pretty refreshed. You're going to function well. You're going to be cognitive ability is typically improved. You're giving yourself that needed rest if you're someone who works out. And it's obviously a huge part of our life. It's about a third of our life is sleep, but it's a necessary third. Okay. And I know there's a lot of high level people, highly successful people, elite athletes. There's people that claim that they only need 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep or less or something crazy. I'm not a huge advocate for that. That might work for a select few. I'm talking to kind of the general population right now. What's going to work for most is a good night's rest. And I track it with my smartwatch. And it's fun for me. I like to see, like, when did I fall asleep, the quality of my sleep, deep REM sleep, light sleep, when was I waking up, what my oxygenation level was. There's a lot you can learn about, your sleep habits and your overall health. I think a good night's rest really sets you up for success the next day. So try to do a better job, even if it's dialing it back 5, 10, 15 minutes sooner that you go to bed at a particular night. Turn that TV off, get into a book, anything like that gets you away from a device, to help you relax and fall to bed, fall asleep faster when you get into bed. The devices and the technology and stuff like that will only keep you up longer, as we all know, right? We've all done the binge watching, we've all done the scrolling, and that typically just keeps us wired and keeps us engaged and doesn't allow us to relax and calm down. So try to get better at that. And that can absolutely lead to just feeling better in your day tomorrow. All right, let's move on. This might not be for you, but I know it's for me, man's best friend. Get yourself a dog or a cat. I think animals, my wife grew up on a farm. She's a huge animal lover. I've always had a dog in my life growing up. Never had cats as a young person, but once I was in college, we had a cat. And I've pretty much had cats ever since. They can be great too, believe it or not. Depends on the type of cat you have. I have 2 cats right now that behave like dogs. and they get along great with my dog. I have an Australian Shepherd. I've had wonderful dogs in the past. I've had mutts. I've had pit bulls. I've had huskies. I've had shepherd mixes. I've had all kinds. They're all wonderful in their own right. I just think it's your buddy. It's your companion. They're always happy to see you. You can talk to them as if they know what you're saying, but they know your tone and they know what kind of mood you're in. They can read a lot about you. But to have a friend that you have to take care of, that relies on you, that is always just excited to have you in their life, it's a wonderful thing and an instant, I think, anxiety killer and stress reducer. And guess what? It accomplishes the first thing I talked about, which is walking. I've walked so many miles in my life, I couldn't even count that, and it's been with a dog. And so I'm not saying you have to go out. Maybe it's your neighbor's dog. Maybe it's a family member's dog, a friend's dog that you get to hang out with on occasion. And that's maybe a good place to start. But just love it. Love having a pet. Love having an animal. Get fish. If you don't want something that you have to clean poop up after, get a fish in a little bowl. That's probably a pretty easy one to start with. So give that a go. All right, so let's move along. I've always been a huge lover of music. And ever since I was a little kid, my older brothers were always huge into music. And I loved anything my brothers loved. And so I think rocking out in your car, I say car just because that's kind of usually for most of us, that's our time alone from the world and we can do whatever we want to do. Well, turn the music up and sing some of your favorite music. It can really help you feel good, especially it depends on what you're listening to, right? Try to listen to something upbeat, positive, not about killing your neighbor or something. Try to think, listen to something that's uplifting. Maybe it's worship music. Maybe it's just your favorite rock music from back in the day, childhood stuff. Who knows? We all have different musical tastes. I have my musical tastes all over the map. Depends on what state of mind I'm in and what I feel like listening to. Classical music sometimes is absolutely phenomenal for you, for your soul. So get into it. Or if you're not a huge music person, how about a podcast? You're listening, watching one right now. So podcasts are great, or even an audiobook. Somebody that just really gets you fired up, who makes you feel good, who just has those words when you need them. To help you in this life, to help you go in a better direction, to make better choices, that fills you up. So I just think that time, don't waste that time when commuting, when in a car, whatever. Make it more useful for you. For me, I've listened to so many audiobooks and great podcasts. I don't know how many hours over the years. And I find that time to be quite productive. Whereas I think a lot of people feel like the drive to work or the drive home is just wasted time. It doesn't have to be. Make it more useful by listening to something that, picks you up and gives you something back rather than robbing you of more years on this planet. Okay. So that's a good one. Been doing that ever since I was a little kid, really. Another one. This is one I'm not good at, setting boundaries for work and for play. I think a lot of us sometimes everything's overlapped and we do a bad job of like cutting things off. We let our work life interfere with our personal life. We let our personal life interfere with our work life. I think you have to be able to do a good job of dropping things at the door, as they say. So when you walk in your door at home, you are dad, you are husband, you are ready to be around the people in your home. When you're at work, you're trying to keep your personal stuff kind of aside. I know there are things sometimes, and go to your supervisor, your employer, and have those conversations if something's really wearing you down in your personal life and you need to let them know. But otherwise, try to leave that stuff outside of work. Focus on your job, doing a good job, being a good coworker, and crushing what you do for a living. But I do a bad job of this on several occasions where my wife she can feel that I'm still working in my mind, even though I'm home. And so she lets me know it, and she calls me out on it, and I'm like, you're right. I am. I got to drop it. I got to unplug. So do a better job of unplugging. How about when we take a trip somewhere, do a better job of unplugging. Go somewhere without your phone on, or even in your pocket. Like leave it back at the cabin, or leave it back at the house or hotel, and try to have some time, some hours away from being connected to everything in life, and just relax a little bit. That can be a huge, huge help. I know. I've heard it from many highly successful people, finding ways to unplug. All right. Another one, which I find many ways to do this. Oftentimes I do it with my coworkers. I do it with my wife, with my children, is finding time for laughter. So much of life is pretty darn serious. We take ourselves too serious sometimes. We need to just be able to laugh. Children are always laughing, and they're not very stressed. Most of them. I feel awful for kids who are living in a stressed out state. It's just no way to be a kid. We need to find ways to just find humor in life. There is so much humor in our everyday life, and to not take things so darn seriously. Certainly in the work environment, you want to be, there's a certain degree of professionalism and seriousness with your tasks and stuff. But I mean, I work for my best friend, for God's sakes. And yes, there's plenty of times where there is no laughter in a 2-hour long meeting. And we just got to talk about something that's serious. But then we'll have a moment in the day with each other, typically, even if it's for just a minute, where it's just us being friends. And I think that's really healthy. And so find those moments in your life where you can just pull yourself back from the seriousness and find some humor. Maybe there's somebody on social media that just always gets you laughing, and go there for a few minutes. Take a break, go out in your car, listen to some comedy or something that makes you laugh a little bit. Takes your mind off of the stressors, the anxiety, the seriousness that we all face in our day. Okay. All right. Another one. So this is one that I think a lot of people, once they're married and have kids, they can get really bad at this and I know personally several people who have admittedly said, I'm awful at this, and they're trying to find ways to improve, is date nights and vacations. You have to insert these into your life. We do a great job of that, in our late teens, early 20s and stuff, right? When we had that taste of independence and freedom, it's always about going out and having a good time. Well, we still need that when we get older. Maybe not as much, and maybe it's a little bit more controlled, or a little bit more subdued fun, but but it's so important to have a date night, even if it's once a month with your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend. Even if it's, 2 vacations a year. And I'm saying like 1 week at a time. That's not a lot, dude. There's 52 weeks in a given year, right? So I'm saying like there should be 2 of those where you are intentionally going somewhere. It doesn't need to be somewhere extravagant. You can I have the luxury of living in Florida. We do staycations. We just drive up to Orlando and stay at a resort for 3, 4, 5 days, whatever. And the kids just love it. We could be anywhere in the world. They just love the fact that we're out of the house and we're doing something different, having a good time. And it's so important as a family, but it's also so important as a couple. My wife and I, she's in nursing school right now, so she is just working her tail off, but we still find time to go and do date nights. And it's just so important for the relationship, for that time, one-on-one time to connect with your partner. So do your date nights, take your vacations. You get one chance at this life. Spend it with those who you care about the most and love the most, and make memories with those people. And it can't all just be the daily grind. You gotta you got to give them a little bit more than that. You got to make time for some fun. Okay. All right. Here's another one. This one's in line with a few things that I've already said, but it's from a slightly different angle. It's about doing something physical that makes you uncomfortable or is challenging. So every week for me, that's easy. That's yoga. I love it and I hate it. I love that I'm doing it. I've been doing it for 4 years, but I also don't look forward to it because it's challenging. It's probably the hardest workout for me of the week. It takes a lot of focus. I'm not super flexible. I've been training my muscles to be strong and tight for a long time. So doing stuff that works on mobility and body position and all these other, positions, it just doesn't come natural. So it's one of those things. It makes me uncomfortable. It challenges me. But I think that's really important for all of us, not to just do what feels good all the time, what comes easy, what feels comfortable. I think it's extremely important to do something that makes you uncomfortable. I mean, and then another thing, it doesn't have to be a workout related. It could be an activity. It could be skydiving. It could be, it could be, heights. You could have a heights thing, a heights fear. Finding ways to overcome that fear, I think, is really good. And how about maybe something else that people don't like, public speaking. That's one of the greatest fears in the world. So maybe find ways where you are putting yourself out there a little bit and talking to in front of a room, in front of a group, doing karaoke or something on stage, some kind of performance. And maybe it takes you a drink or two to get there, or you have to do it with some friends. But stuff like that can really help too, because you realize we're all humans. None of us are perfect. And that's not what we're looking for in others, is it? Are we looking for others to be perfect? No. In fact, when others are fallible and show their humanness from the stage, right? Or from it's almost like we feel more connected to them. So life is crazy, right? The way we see things and think about things, but putting yourself out there and letting yourself be uncomfortable is highly valuable. And I think there's so many things you can get from that. And it's just a great stress reducer and anxiety, because your mind's so focused on, oh my God, on this other thing that but it's a healthy stress. It's a healthy anxiety. It's good. It's a good thing. And then once you get through it, you realize, hey, I'm still here. I'm still alive. That didn't kill me. That wasn't too bad. And then people come over and be like, man, that was awesome. That was great. It's a confidence booster. It's all kinds of things. So put yourself out there. Do something physical or some type of activity that gets you out of your comfort zone. You'll be so proud that you did it. And I've done a lot of those in my life, and will continue to do so. Okay, here, total 180 here. Get a rub down. People go, what? Go get a massage. I think, maybe some people have never had one before. I've had several in my life, from men, from women. I typically do prefer a female's touch. I feel like I can just relax a little bit more. But I'll tell you what, man, I've had some massages from some guys who were able to dig in and use their strong hands and their leverage and really help open up my back or my neck. That's typically my two spots, my mid upper back and my neck, just from lifting and from sitting and stuff. And so it's just super helpful. But you can go and you don't have to get some kind of sports massage. You could just go get a nice, relaxing Swedish massage where it's just very superficial. It's very relaxing. Typically, you'll fall asleep. I've had many of those massages where I actually asked for deep tissue, but they weren't really capable of providing that. So I still kind of fall asleep. But it's very refreshing and relaxing and good for you. And so I highly recommend that. The human touch is a big thing, is a big deal. And I think if you have never allowed yourself to experience it, you should consider it. Go get a massage and give us some feedback if you do. All right. Another one. Enjoy some passion or quality time with your partner or loved one before or at bedtime. And I'm not trying to get silly here. I'm just trying to say that it could be something as simple as just going to bed at the same time. I think a lot of couples, they kind of start doing their own thing at night after those first few years, and they start kind of going to bed at different times. And, that's all well and good on occasion, but I think there can be a distance that forms between you, and that's not good. So you want to feel more connected. I'm still working on this myself. I've been working at this recently, trying to go to bed more at the same time as my wife, because I feel like we're kind of in it together, right? I feel like we're both in bed at the same time and falling asleep at the same time, waking up at the same time. I just feel like we're just more in tune with each other, more connected. But even just that quality time leading up to bedtime, maybe sit next to each other, watching a Netflix show or, whatever it is. I just think those moments add up and stack up over time, that you're together, even though maybe what you're doing isn't anything big. It's just the fact that you're near each other. And there's a lot that goes into that. But I think that extra connection and that time given to your relationship will help with, these kind of subconscious stressors and anxieties of life. Like if your relationship is not in a good place, like there's an underlying stress, I think, in your life on a daily basis, right? But if you're feeling really connected to your spouse, they're there for you for conversation, for whatever you need to discuss with them. I think just all of that all those extra added moments in our life really do mean something, and they matter. And you're just feeling better in that area of life. And that's a great stress reducer for sure. Okay, here's another one. So I think I'm down to 3 more. And these are really big ones. I've saved 3 really great ones for the end. Ready? Breathe. Just breathe. That's right. Find ways to do some deep breathing. I'm not saying you have to meditate. I'm just saying find time in your day, even if it's for just a few moments, where you can sit and do some deep belly breathing. You can lay down, you can sit, you can stand, you can do it in your car, whatever. You can close your eyes and try to just focus on taking longer inhales, holding it, and longer exhales, but breathing in through the nose, holding it, filling your belly with air, not just your chest. Pull that air in deep down into your belly. Really open up those lungs. Hold it and then let it out slow. Okay? It's just simple deep breathing. 4, 5, 6 seconds in, hold it for a few seconds, maybe even 4 or 5, and then let it out nice and slow. 5, 6, 7 seconds out. And those big, deep cleansing breaths really help you. You feel more clear. You feel more focused, more relaxed. You could do it multiple times a day, and we have to breathe, right? But it's the one thing that we do that we can do consciously, and we obviously do unconsciously. Like we don't have to think about breathing, right? Breathing is just a natural part of our existence, but we can really affect our breathing by focusing on it and really kind of manipulate it and get the most out of it. And I think the more we intentionally breathe, the better we will do when we're not thinking about it and taking those deeper breaths. So try some deep breathing. We have a lot of videos on deep breathing actually on our YouTube channel. So check that out. Just go to Critical Bench on YouTube and you can find out more about breathing. Okay, last 2. This is one I'm currently in. Today is our final game. I coach baseball. I've been coaching youth baseball for 5 years. My son's baseball team. I absolutely love it. I think when you pour into others, especially kids, and it doesn't have to be baseball. It can be any recreational activity. It can be anything at all. When you dump your heart and soul and passion into helping others, and I just say kids because I think kids are they're extra awesome and extra special, and you can influence the heck out of them. Be a great influence for a kid. Coach them, mentor them, build them up, support them, fill them with some life, and it just fills you right back up. I mean, I just love it. I'm coaching my son's team. We've had just an unbelievable season. And it's so much time. There's a lot of hours in the week where I'm coaching and we're practicing and we have games and all this stuff. And it's months and months and months. But I'll tell you what, man, I don't regret 1 second. I absolutely love it. I love these boys. I love being a voice for them. I love building them up. I love seeing them perform well, make the play. A kid that maybe didn't start off the season great, but finishes strong. I take so much joy and pleasure in that. Coaching on all levels from youth up till pro level, I think is just a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. So get involved, whether it's your kid or just coaching others' kids is, I think, just so terrific. So give it a go. Volunteer your time. Lastly, this is really easy. It's planning. It's managing your day, but it's planning ahead. It's planning your tomorrow. What does tomorrow look like? Give tomorrow just a couple of thoughts, whether that's, at the middle of your day, at the end of your day, maybe you evaluate really quickly how your day went, how you wished it went, and what can you set yourself up with for tomorrow to make tomorrow a better day. And I think if you have some of those thoughts and feelings subconsciously, even while you sleep, you're still working on it. Your brain is still processing and still thinking about that. And I think that can really lead to a better tomorrow. If you just start planning ahead a little bit, jot some things down, write some things that you'd like to get done maybe in your day early, so that you can check a few boxes off, which always feels good, that feeling of accomplishment when you get up in the morning. Or, like something as simple for me as like making our beds at home before we leave. That just feels like I set myself up. I already got something done for the day, and today's going to be a good day. And so, again, I don't have all this figured out in life. I really don't. I'm taking it one day at a time, just like you are. But I just want to pass along some stuff that I have incorporated into my life, and I know it's working. I'm not living with anxiety and with stress. Sure, I have my moments, but I feel like I have so many outlets and so many ways to get this tension and the challenges of life are able to escape in a healthy way. I just want to pass that along to you. You're deserving of it. So thank you so much for listening to another episode here on the Strong by Design podcast show. Easy for me to say. Please hit that 5 stars wherever you listen to this podcast. Leave us a rating, a review of any kind. Would love to hear from you what this episode or what our show has meant to you over the years as we're in our beginning of our 5th season. And we're just not slowing down. In fact, we're picking up or ramping up, and our numbers have never been better. So it's just been fantastic. It's a blessing. And we thank you so much for listening to us today. And I hope you found this useful. I thank God for you. And I hope to be talking with you next week here on Strong by Design. God bless. Bye-bye.